Gotta wait for our city attorney. All right, if you could all please take your seats, it's time to start. Yeah, I put mine in the back. Get ready to call to order our joint meeting of the City Council. Successor agency to the Redevelopment Agency, Public Finance Authority, the Public Utility Authority, Housing Authority, Paris Joint Powers Authority, and the Paris Community Economic Development Corporation of the City of Paris. It's Tuesday, May 26, 2026 at 6:32 PM. Madam Clerk, can we have a roll call, please?
Mayor Pro Tem Corona,
Present.
Councilmember Rabb,
Here.
Councilmember Vallejo.
Here.
Councilmember Nava,
Here.
Mayor Vargas.
Present, thank you. Item 3 is our invocation, which would have been led by Pastor Dan Bell. He was unable to attend, so I'll go ahead and take care of that. So y'all please stand and join us. And remain standing for item 4, which will be our Pledge of Allegiance, which will be led by Mayor Pro Tem Corona. So let us take this moment to center ourselves as we begin this meeting. May our discussions be guided by wisdom, our decisions rooted in fairness, and our actions reflect the best interests of the community we serve. May we listen with respect, speak with clarity, and work together in unity for the betterment of our city. With gratitude and the opportunity to lead, let us begin, and we say amen.
Okay, please join me as we do the Pledge of Allegiance. Place your right hand over your heart. Ready? Begin.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the
Republic
republic
for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Like that prayer. All right, item 5. Item 5 is our report on closed session items. Call on our city attorney to give us a report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The council met pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9D1 in 2 cases. No reportable action was taken. The council met pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.8 for 2 real property negotiations. No reportable action was taken. Lastly, the council met pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9D4. In one matter, they authorized litigation to start. And in the other matter, no reportable action was taken.
Thank you. Item 6 is presentations and announcements. 6A is a presentation of certificates to the recipients of the Mayor's Art Contest. This item will be introduced by our Director of Public Services, Ms. Sabrina Chavez.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and members of the City Council. Public Services Manager Crystal Lopez will present this item.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, City Council, and City staff. It is with great pleasure to present to you the 2026 Mayor's Art Contest. The Mayor's Art Contest was established in 2024, and this year marks the 3rd annual year we've hosted this contest. Each year, the top 3 selected artists have their artwork displayed in our main City Hall lobby for 1 year, recognizing their artwork, and then another year in the council offices. This year, we expanded the contest to invite artists of all ages to participate, including all school districts located in Paris. This year, we received a total of 81 submissions, which included 28 youth submissions, 5 adult submissions, 48 student submissions from Enchanted Hills Elementary, Valverde Elementary School, and Palms Elementary School. So this year, we have in first place Liana Montoya with her hand-drawn artwork titled Paris Market. Liana was a youth submission and attends Tomas Rivera Middle School as a 7th grader. Next, we have Damien Reyna with his sculpture artwork titled The Outdoors. Damien is a 6th grade submission from Miss Jacqueline Trong's class at at Enchanted Hills Elementary School. Third place, we have Marcelin Sosa with her hand-painted artwork titled Spring Rainbow. Marcelin is a TK submission from Mrs. Ortiz's class at Valverde Elementary School. Thank you, and this concludes our presentation, and I would like to invite our City Council for presentation of the certificates and gifts.
They're all here. All right. Congratulations, everybody. So first, we're going to bring up Leanna Montoya. Come on up, sweetie. Next up, second place, we have Damian Reyna. And our third place winner is Marceline Sosa. Congratulations, sweetie. So Lena, our first place winner, you get also a $100 Walmart gift card. Come on. That's for you and me to go shopping. Second place, Damien, you get $50 Walmart. And third place, Marceline, you get $25.
Okay, so we're gonna do two pictures, one without the artwork and then one with just the certificates. All right, ready? Everyone look. 1, 2. Okay, and then parents, if you want to take the pictures.
Come on up, parents, don't be bashful.
All right. Yeah. All right. Everyone look. Okay, ready? Everyone look over here. 1, 2. Okay, and parents?
Okay, Yes. Item 6B is a presentation and proclamation in recognition of ALS Awareness Month. Tonight, we recognize May 2026 as ALS Awareness Month in the city of Paris. ALS, also known as the Lou Gehrig disease. This is a disease that affects thousands of individuals and families across the country each year. This proclamation serves as an opportunity to raise awareness about the challenges faced with those living with ALS, while also honoring the strength, resilience, and courage of patients, caregivers, and loved ones impacted by this disease. We also recognize the important work for being done by researchers, medical professionals, advocates, and organizations like ALS Association in advancing treatments, support, services, and continued efforts toward finding a cure. So tonight, it'll be on record that we are issuing them a proclamation signed on this date by the mayor and the city council, and we will issue that out to the organization. So applause for them, please. And item C is our presentation of the recipients of the 2026 Motluck Foundation Scholarship. This will be introduced by Director of Public Services, Sabrina Chavez.
Good evening. As well, Public Services Manager will be presenting this item.
Thank you. Good evening again, Honorable Mayor, City Council, and City staff. And again, it's with great pleasure to present to you the recipients of the 2026 Motluck Scholarship Foundation Scholarship. The Malak Scholarship Foundation was established in 2024 with the goal to provide scholarships to graduating high school students or students transferring from a 2-year college to university, pursuing a college education in engineering, science, mathematics, or a STEM-related field. This year, we received 17 applications, with 11 eligible applicants who underwent an interview process for final selection by our board of directors. Of the interviewed candidates, 6 scholarships will be awarded tonight at $5,000 each, and notification of award to the students was provided in person at their senior award night last week. I present before you our 2026 6 scholarship recipients. We have Aaron Perez from Orange Vista High School, who will be attending UC Riverside to pursue mechanical engineering. We have Diego Ugalde from Orange Vista High School, who will be attending UCLA to pursue financial actuarial. We have Eric Garcia Cambero, our first transfer student to receive this award from Mount San Jacinto College, who will be transferring to Liberty University to pursue civil engineering. Michelle Estrada from Orange Vista High School, who will be attending UC San Diego to pursue cognitive science. Miranda Estrada from Orange Vista High School, who will be attending UC San Diego to pursue mathematics. And Shayna de las Alas from Orange Vista High School, who will be attending UC Riverside to pursue bioengineering. If anyone is interested in learning more about the Malak Scholarship Foundation, please visit our city website at www.cityofparis.org/scholarships. And if we have anyone interested in donating to the foundation, sponsorship inquiries can be sent to scholarships@cityofparis.org. And lastly, our next round of applications will open in January 2027. I did also want to acknowledge we have Mr. Habib Motlog, who is in the audience with us today. Second row. And this concludes our presentation. Thank you.
Alrighty, thank you, Crystal. Okay, so I'm going to read the first certificate. It's the same basic for all the rest, and then we'll call up each individual student. You'll come to me, I'll shake your hand, and then shake hands for our council, and then we'll take a photograph. So this is a certificate from the City of Paris, Certificate of Achievement for the Motluk Scholarship Foundation recipient. May it be known that the Office of the Mayor and the City Council hereby commends the outstanding achievement of, in this case, it's going to be Aaron Perez, and joins Orange Vista High School in congratulating Aaron on being selected as a recipient of the $5,000 Motluk Scholarship Foundation Award. We wish you continued success at the University of California, Riverside, and look forward to a great accomplishment that lie ahead of you in your bright future. Next one is Diego Ugalde from Orange Vista High School. Eric Garcia Cambero. Eric is from Mount San Jacinto College. This is our first recipient for a transfer from a college to a university, so big deal tonight. And Michelle Estrada from Orange Vista High School. Miranda Estrada. Twin sisters, if you haven't noticed that. It was remarkable. I remember they both had the same GPA. Yeah. This was not easy to select these winners when you have a bunch of kids coming up. And it's just ironically a bunch were from Orange Vista High School. That was not by us doing it, it's just the way it came out. Shahina de las Alas, she's from Orange Vista High School. She's also our vice president for our YAC committee. Okay, let's move on over so we can take a photo when you're done shaking hands. time, we can hold smiles. Politics 101. All right, at this time, we'll allow for council to make any comments they'd like to make to all our recipients. So please cue in if you want to speak. We will start with Councilman David Starr Rab.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Vargas. I'd like to first start off by thanking and congratulating all the recipients of the Mayor's Art Award. I really enjoyed looking at your art, and thank you for coming out this evening. Followed by, would like to congratulate all the recipients of the scholarship, and Mr. Montlaw for making this possible, my colleagues for vetting the scholarship process, and it's just been amazing to see it grow over the last few years. So once again, congratulations on your accomplishments in high school, and more luck as you move on to that next increased level in the college sphere. Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem Corona.
Thank you, Mayor. I too want to congratulate all the artists with your great designs. I know our city's been really focused on art, and so it's definitely great to see the future generation coming along. To the scholarship recipients, big congratulations. I know with college being so expensive, I'm sure it could help out, a great deal. Thank you to Mr. Motlog for your generous contributions, for helping out our future generations, and to our future leaders. Because what the goal is, you go off to college, but at the same time, we do want to see you guys back. And at the very least, just please give us a kind of a summary within the next year or so. Just kind of give us a quick summary of how things are going there. But that's it. Thank you.
Councilwoman Vallejo.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, I would like to first say congratulations to all the art contest winners. Those are amazing art pieces. If you guys are planning on selling them, please sell it to me because I do love your artwork, and we are more than happy to showcase it around the city. So that is a big deal. Congratulations. Also, I would like to also thank the recipients for the scholarships. It's a big deal. You were out of 17 and then 11 and then now 6. You guys should be very proud of yourself because that is 5,000 is better than more that I have seen, but you guys, it's really going to help you guys a lot. And please come back to our community because we always want to see you guys shine, and especially here so you can give back to your community. And thank you so much, Habib, because you have been investing in our community for some time now. And nothing makes me happier than you investing and still being here. So I appreciate you.
Councilwoman Nava.
Thank you, Mayor. A great congratulations to our art contest winners, from the youngest to the oldest. I hope you continue to pursue your passion in art. And to the Motlagh Foundation scholarship recipients, I wish you the best of luck in your education journey. Success is not linear, so always keep that in mind, but I wish you the best of luck and enjoy the ride. Congratulations.
All right, to the scholarship winners, yes, big congratulations. And it's not easy when we have to go through all those applications and then listen to you guys and interview you. It's not, we would like to be able to pick more, but we have 6 of our top winners. And as Councilwoman or Mayor Pro Tem indicated, do remember to come back to your community and give back somehow, some way or form. But, this is where you started, so maybe you can come back and help us out. And to our art contest winners, that was not easy as well. Over 80 participants this year, and I even had for the first time adults to submit some artwork. So I think we may have to open up an adult award too now to make it fair for everybody. But it's not easy, and congratulations to my little artists. Okay, that concludes our presentations. Recipients, you're more than welcome to leave if you want to leave. I know you want to be here for the whole rest of the meeting, but that's your choice. But we will move on to item 7, which is our Youth Advisory Committee communication. And this report will be given by Shayna de Alas, our Vice President, who just won the recipient of the Motlagh Award. Come on up.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, members of the City Council, and city staff. My name is Shayna de las Alas, and I am honored to serve as the Vice President of the Youth Advisory Committee. Tonight, I am pleased to provide several updates on behalf of YAC. Our next YAC meeting will take place on Tuesday, June 2nd, from 5:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. in the council chambers. We welcome youth interested in leadership, civic engagement, and community service to attend and learn how they can make a positive impact in our community. YAC is excited to announce the Statler Youth Center Summer Kickoff taking place next Friday, June 5th, from 3:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. at the Statler Youth Center. We invite teens and youth to come out and enjoy an afternoon filled with hot dogs, games, activities, and summer fun while supplies last. Following the summer kickoff, YAC will also host our monthly open mic night from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. at the Statler Youth Center. We encourage all youth to come out, support one another, and showcase their talents in a fun, positive, and welcoming environment. Additionally, YAC will participate in the 25th annual Rods and Rails event on Saturday, June 13th from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. at the Southern California Railway Museum. This family-friendly event brings together classic cars, trains, and community entertainment, and we encourage all residents to join us for a great evening of community engagement and fun. Lastly, the application period for the 2026 to 2027 YAC term officially closed on Friday, May 1st. We are excited to share that we received a total of 60 applications. The next step in the recruitment process will be interviews with the YAC liaisons, and we look forward to providing additional updates at the next City Council meeting. As always, we encourage our communities to stay safe, stay engaged, and stay connected. For the latest updates on YAC programs and upcoming events, please follow us on social media at Paris YAC. Thank you for your time and continued support. We truly appreciate your partnership in helping make Paris a vibrant, welcoming, and inspiring place for youth and families. Thank you.
Thank you. Item 8 is our public comment. This is time when any member of our public can bring a matter to the attention of the mayor and the city council that is within our jurisdiction and is not on our agenda this evening. You will have 3 minutes. Madam Clerk, do you have any requests to speak?
Yes, sir. Ashley? This is for public comment?
Okay, it was for an agenda item.
Oh, no, not yours. Yours is not yet.
Hello, good evening, City of Paris, City Council, City staff. I wanted to come up and say that as a representative of Rise Paris Pride, which is our local LGBTQ organization, I did want to make a public stand and say that we stand against the Harry Potter Express at the railway. Using any kind of Harry Potter trademark explicitly sides with J.K. Rowling and her anti-trans agenda. She has made comment many times saying that she uses all of her profits to pretty much privately fund cisgender women and how they sue trans women for being trans. And she donates often to anti-trans lobbyists and politicians that both affect policies in the United Kingdom and the United States. So unfortunately, she has brought that upon Harry Potter herself, and it looks very bad for the community, and it would send a message to the queer community that we would not be safe at the railway if that was to move forward. I also wanted to make a mention of the San Diego shooting at the Islamic Center. We want to stand publicly with them as our Islamic Center is not far, and it's most likely that folks know each other from each of those. We stand against all hate crimes. It's absolutely unacceptable. Islamophobia, queerphobia, transphobia, it's growing. and it's inappropriate. We want to make a stand and create safe spaces for folks in the community, which is what we will be doing. You'll hear more about that. And lastly, I did want to request, again, for the third year, a Pride Month proclamation for the month of June. It would be lovely to give it to the organization itself. I have two at home. I don't need them. It's going to be for other members of the organization. I really appreciate how there was a public announcement for the month of May this year going towards ALS and recognizing ALS. And I think that it would mean a lot to the queer community if there was also a public recognition for Pride Month. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Marys? Marks? That is all.
Okay, thank you. Item 9 is our approval of minutes. 9A is consideration to approve the minutes of the regular joint meeting held on April 28th, 2026 of the City Council.
How
Pardon me?
did you pronounce your name? Modest. Sorry about
That's
that.
okay. So I am also a member of Rise Paris Pride, and I agree with everything that Ashley said. Moving forward with the Harry Potter event will send a message that Paris does not stand with us. And there's a bunch of other themes to choose from. I mean, I know Harry Potter is like, it's for the kids, but we can't separate the art from the artist. J.K. Rowling, she is transphobic. And I think it's important that we think of the implications that the city of Paris has on the community and how they view us. We're also hosting this Saturday a upcycle event to create seed starters so that the community can start growing their own food. And so I just wanted to invite everyone to that. It's an upcycled seed starter event, and so we're taking trash and turning it into materials to use for the garden. Thank you.
Thank you.
That is all.
Okay, item 9 is approval of minutes. 9A is consideration to approve the minutes of the regular joint meeting held on April 28th, 2026 of the City Council and other entities as listed on our agenda. There are no comments or questions by the council. I entertain a motion to approve. I have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Councilman Rabb, second by Councilwoman Nava. Please call the vote.
5-0, motion approved.
Thank you. Nine B is a consideration to approve the minutes of the special joint meeting held on April 30th, 2026 of the City Council and all the other entities as listed on our agenda. I have a motion by Councilman Rabb, second by Mayor Pro Tem Corona. Please call a vote.
5-0, motion approved.
Thank you. Item 10 is our consent calendar item. Consent calendar items are normally enacted in one motion. The mayor or the city council may remove a consent calendar item for a separate action. We will allow for public comment, which is limited to 3 minutes. Madam Clerk, do you have any requests to speak?
No, sir.
Council, may have anything they want to pull for separate discussion or vote? All right, looking for a motion to approve the consent calendar item. I have a motion by Councilman Rabb, second by Mayor Pro Tem Corona. Please call the vote. 'Who are you waiting on? On me? I thought I hit yes. Sorry.
5-0, motion approved.
Thank you. Did we get any public comment? Any public comment?
For consent calendar, no.
Okay, I just want to confirm that there's no one in the audience that wants to speak in reference to the CR&R item that's on our agenda. Did you fill out a public request form to speak, sir? Can you do that, please? This time, I'm going to move item 11B up in front of 11A so we can hear our CR&R issues. So we're going to hear 11B first. 11B is consideration to adopt proposed resolution number next in order, approving the placement of the CR&R solid waste delinquent balances on the Riverside County property tax roll. This item will be introduced by our Director of Finance, Mr. Matthew Schenk.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. Yes, this item will be presented by both Barbara Jimenez and Alex, annihilate the name, Brakovich
That's it.
from CR&R.
Good evening, City Council, Honorable Mayor, and City Staff. I'm Barbara Jimenez with CR&R, and I'm here for questions, open to questions. If anybody wants to ask about the tax roll issue, I've already spoke to 2 families, and we've got them settled. So if anybody has any questions or concerns, they can reach out to me directly, and we can get that resolved.
I'm sorry, the person that just said they want to speak, you already spoke to them?
Yes, I've spoken to 2 separate
Are you good,
families.
sir? No, you're not? You want to come and make a comment?
Okay, I didn't see him. They sent them out to me.
Oh. Is that all you have, Barbara, or you want to continue?
That's it. That's all I have. I can go speak to him in the hallway. Unless you want to have. me
Sir,
come
do you
up
want
here.
to come speak to us, or you want to speak to CR&R out there? I can't hear him.
He wants to speak to the city.
Okay, come on up, sir. Okay, this is a public hearing, so I got to open up the public hearing at 7:05. Can you state your name, please?
I was born Ahmad Amin Jackson Jr.
Okay,
So for those who don't know me, of course, my name is Ahmad Amin Jackson Jr. I'm coming to you today as a steward of the land and an owner-operator on the monastery located at 3296 Oakleaf Lane, Paris, California. I'm here to respond to the letter that I hope was sent in mistake, but maybe it wasn't. In case you in the courtroom have forgot, according to Tax Code 501c3, any establishment to include your domicile can be and is considered a church or a house of worship, and is federally tax exempt without the need to file Form 1023. And according to the legislation, spoken word counts. And the exemption is for all things. And since I have the time, I would like to address some other issues because I've been the subject of discrimination by the city for quite some time.
okay, this matters strictly on the trash bill.
I
You gotta
understand
stay
that,
focused on
but
that.
if it levies into the same thing, then I'm using it to justify my response, Mayor. So as I was stating, the city municipal court has not provided any services to the house or the monastery located on 3296 Oakleaf Lane for over a year. I've owned that property for about 4 years now. And within the last year, after I left Lockheed Martin, where I was working on the backbone to the top secret network of this entire country, and I was in the top 4% of income earners, I walked away to look at how I could provide service grander than that I was doing at Lockheed Martin. I made sure that by stepping away, I would look at the legislation and make sure everything I did was crossing my T's and dotting my I's. More than that, I looked into the truth of the legislation of the court and understand how and who gives you guys the authority to govern the citizens of this city and state. I would like to further declare that this city is called Jerusalem. That is known by the native tree in the city. In case you want to go outside and look, there's one right outside of the sheriff's department. I would like to further state that in this court, I want to recognize my sovereignty and recognize who I am in the eyes of the Lord and the God. So what that means is my native land is this land. My father, born Osiris, the year of the fire serpent, name Amar Min Jackson, Sr., born Samuels. My mother, Shirley Ray Jenkins, born...
All right, thank you, sir. Your time's up. You're more than happy to talk to CR&R outside if you'd like. Do we have any other requests to speak, Madam Clerk?
That is it.
We're going to close the public hearing at 7:09. Just want to make sure, CNR, you guys are done, right? All right, council, any other questions? If not, I'll call for a motion on the resolution. I have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Corona, second by Councilwoman Nava. Please call the vote.
5-0, motion approved.
Thank you. All right, going to go back up to 11A. 11A is the, hold on. 11A is consideration to adopt proposed resolution number next in order and introduce the first reading of the proposed ordinance number next in order adopting General Plan Amendment 25-05247, Zone Change 23-05245, a Plan Development Overlay Zone 23-05246, Tentative Track Map 23-05244, TTM 38775, and Development Plan Review 23-00019. This is continued hearing from the April 14th, 2026 meeting. This is a proposal to facilitate development of the Acacia Puente, a 141-unit townhome-style condominium project on 11.6 acres located south of Nuevo Road and east of Wilson Avenue. The applicant is Ryan Woosley, D.R. Horton. This will be introduced, continued, I should say, by our Director of Development Services, Mr. Kenneth Fung.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the City Council. This item will be presented by our Senior Planner, Nathan Perez.
Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council, the project, as you mentioned, is the Acacia Point project, which was continued from the April 14th City Council meeting after taking public comment from 2 neighboring property owners stating their concerns that have not been resolved. Some background information on where the project site is situated. It's situated on the southeast corner of Nuevo Road and Wilson Avenue, consisting of 11.6 acres. Some of the surrounding uses are apartments and shopping center to the north, to the southeast and west, a single-family residential. On August 20th of last year, the Planning Commission voted to recommend approval to the project to the City Council. It subsequently, in September 30th of last year, you, the City Council, voted to continue the project off calendar for the developer to, 1, reduce the dirt stockpile consistent with city approval, 2, to address the concerns of 3 property owners regarding the stockpile, and 3, address the potential shortage of parking for the development of the project. The project has continued 2 additional times since September 30th of last year to allow the developer to resolve concerns noted above. So the status of the grading compliance, the applicant has ceased all grading activities since last December of last year, and the soil height has been reduced in compliance with the stockpile permit, so it conforms to the city approval. Concerning the on-street parking conditions, the applicant's proposing 344 spaces, which exceeds the parking requirement by 20 spaces. Just to let the council know, street parking on Wilson will be permitted along the project development, and no street parking will be permitted along Nuevo Road, since it will be a bicycle lane, pretty much striped along the frontage of the project. Code enforcement has begun issuing citations for vehicles parked illegally along Nuevo Road. Now, concerning the status of discussions with adjacent homeowners, the development has indicated that door-to-door outreach was conducted to reach an agreement with affected homeowners. And based on that, the applicant at the time did not reach an agreement with two property owners residing at 664 Crystal Creek Road and 1490 Shady Oaks Drive, which is shown on the exhibit in the outline in red. Later on, the developer has met with city staff, and they disclosed to staff that there's a third property owner which has not been able to reach an agreement with them, and the location was not provided to staff. So going back into the project, a general plan amendment is proposed to redesignate from R6000 to MFR 14. A zone change is also required to facilitate the project from R6000 single-family residential to MFR 14 Plan Development Overlay. And here's the site plan. On the right-hand side is actually north, and the applicant is proposing 2 points of access along Wilson Avenue. The main point of access is the yellow, is depicted in the yellow arrows. And secondary access, which is shown in the red arrows, is for emergency access only. The applicant proposes 141 townhome-style condominiums, ranging from 3 to 4 bedrooms, from 1,600 square feet to 1,652 square feet. There's also amenities being proposed, such as a clubhouse, pool, tot lot, shaded picnic areas distributed throughout the whole development. And this development will also be gated. Here's a cross-section just showing the setbacks of 20 feet along the southerly property line to the building wall, and along the easterly property line, there's 27 feet. City staff has reviewed the project and it complies with the development standards. And here's a rendering just showing the main entrance off of Wilson Avenue. So Planning Commission recommends that the City Council adopt resolution adopting mitigated negative declaration, approving general plan amendment, tentative track map, development plan review based on the findings contained in the resolution and subject to the conditions of approval, and also introduce the first reading of ordinance number approving the plan development overlay and zone change based on the findings contained in the ordinance. This concludes my presentation. I'm here to answer any questions the council might have.
Thank you, Nathan. Council, does anybody have any quick questions before I bring up the applicant or give them an opportunity again? All right, is the applicant here, I'm assuming?
Yes, they are.
Does the applicant wish to come up and make comments?
Mr. Mayor and members of City Council, I'm Dan Boyd representing D.R. Horton this evening. I'm Vice President for Entitlements. As you know, there's been a long history of this project, so we're pretty pleased and happy, hopefully, to request your consideration. Today, the project has been designed to conform with all development standards, the zoning, the intensity of the use. In doing so, we took your last comments that we officially received and incorporated those comments into the project before you this evening. Those things included such things as barriers into the dog park, separating the small dogs from large dogs. We included additional evergreen landscaping along the southeasterly edges of the project. And I think the core issue this evening is parking. And so from that standpoint, I wanted to, again, that we already know from your staff report, which I deeply appreciate all the staff's time, has determined that the project not only complies with the current code, but it exceeds the current code. Now, some of us can debate, is that good enough? Well, what we try and do in the development community is respond to the city's code and requirements. And so we've met that expectation. However, we do know that parking is sensitive, so I want to remind us that we do have 20 additional spaces, a total of 68 total spaces that are available in this project. That's in addition to the 284 spaces that we find within the two-car garages. The other point I would make on the parking concern is that this project is a gated community. Access is controlled, and therefore you don't have a free flow from people coming in using the residential parking areas. Most importantly, we do have an HOA in this project, and within this HOA, we'll have conditions and stipulations that these garages can only be used for parking cars, not for ATVs, not for storage, and so on and so forth. And there will be inspections. We use this provision throughout a lot of our projects in California, and it's turned out to be very effective. So with regards to Wilson, we know Wilson is a very busy street. However, if you consider potentially on a 24/7 basis, there ought to be some, not a lot, but there'll be some off-flow parking. Obviously, on Nuevo, that will be striped red, so there's no parking whatsoever. The project is a project that's been designed to accommodate a wide plethora of homeowners that want to be in the city of Paris. Not everyone desires a single-family detached home. Backyards and front yards is not necessarily within our buyer's profile in today's ages. They want basically a residence they can walk in that's maintained. They want a project that's got a plethora of amenities, so on the weekends they don't have to get in their cars and travel about. They can do all that within their own project. And as you know, we've included a number of amenities, including recently a clubhouse. So this project does have density, sure it does. And when we look at density, density is not a bad word. Density gives us housing, fulfills housing needs. But more importantly, is the type of housing this project is providing. We're providing an ability for someone to move in, one-stop shop. They don't have to maintain, they pay dues every month, and all these wonderful amenities are taken care of. The other concerns we've heard is, will number of families move into these units? Now, I understand from the council's perspective that's been something you've seen in the past, but I submit the following. This project was not designed to be multi-generational. It's not an ADU project. In fact, there is no bedrooms on the first floor. So either our 3 and 4 bedrooms, they're on the second floors. You have dad and mom that has a room, you got kids, they get a room, and maybe grandpa moves in. But this product does not lend itself to bring in multiple members. Frankly speaking, I don't subscribe to that assertion, not to be argumentative, but we see this project all over. We've done this many times. So sure, your experiences have seen that, but this project was not designed to accommodate that type of multifamily living. So I submit that the project not only conforms to the future general plan and zone change requirements, but I think we have a project here that we are particularly proud of. And furthermore, we know there's been some issues. In fact, you're going to hear from a few tonight, I'm sure, about the issues caused by the original stockpile. Well, I proudly submit we took care of that problem. So it's no longer a discussion. We stopped grading, stockpile is gone, done and over with. You asked us to walk and talk to every single homeowner adjacent to this project. That was plus or minus 30 residences. We did that. And as a result of that, we ended up with a totality of 5 claims, okay? And we don't need to go into great detail. We settled 2, and unfortunately we couldn't resolve the remaining 3. However, the remaining 3, there is one that still is preparing their own independent report, and that's fine. So we gave it our best bet. We gave it our best try. And I have documentation, despite what we may hear tonight. With each of those property owners, we've documented the times, the places, and the dates, the types of conversations, and what was resolved in those conversations. And so we do not prescribe to the fact that we've heard in the past that D.R. Horton has laid down the issue, they're ignoring us, they're blowing us off. That is not true, and I can prove that. So what I hope this evening is we can divorce ourselves from that anguish. That's unfortunate, but that's going to be handled in a different forum. That really is not a matter between us and the city and the homeowners. That's a situation for Horton and the homeowners. The city is not a party to that. And however that ends up, it ends up. But we did exactly what your city council here tonight asked us to do, and that was a result of those efforts. So we have reviewed the conditions of approval very carefully. We're very excited about this project. We're excited about the housing opportunity. And trust me, you already know this. Your retail and commercial activity has far reached any limits of any other surrounding community. And how did you do that? You supported housing of all types. Every new door built is an opportunity for a family to walk in. And that's pretty special when you hand somebody a set of keys and say, this is your home. But the housing industry supports your retail and commercial, and you've proved it. This city is unbelievably successful in that regard, and we hope on behalf of D.R. Horton that we can be part of that success. I have any time you want to ask any questions this evening. I hope to give you all the answers, but obviously, if I can't, we'll have to get back to you. But we pretty much want to get this through the process tonight. This project's been around a long time. We've been through multiple planning commissions, a couple, 2, 3 city council meetings, including the continuances. And the ad hoc committees, we had 3 of those, right? And even before that, we started our community outreach. We had 2 community outreaches. And so we actually actively tried to get the community involved before we filed the project. So I think, in my humble opinion, we've done everything correctly. We're proud to bring you a housing opportunity this evening. And I know there are concerns, and I hope we can address them tonight. And I appreciate it very much.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, do you have any public comment?
Yes, sir. Luz Gomez?
Hi, my name is Luz Gomez. I am here to let the mayor know and all of you councils that I had, they have wrote to me, emailed me, telling me that they didn't have nothing to do with my damage of my property, that they're not gonna pay for anything, and that was it. I didn't write back to them because that's just wasting my time to just write to them because they're not gonna pay for nothing. They're saying they didn't have nothing to do with it. I sent you, Mayor, a letter, I emailed you a letter of what I felt. I don't know if you received it. I have a copy of that I sent it to you. And also, I wanted to say about the parking, like, it's bad already. And for them to not able to park on Nuevo, they're gonna park on our streets now. As it is on the corner going into our street, it's already bad. There's been a lot of cars that have been hit because of the parking, how it is it. And then also, I wanted to ask, what's gonna happen on Wilson? There's a dead end. Why don't they open that street so it could be a straight, so they could go from Nuevo to the freeway or from Wilson going that way to the freeway? Because it's a dead end there. So they're gonna either go around us to go to the freeway or go through Nuevo. So I don't know what else to say because they're not gonna pay for any of my damage. So I hope you guys help me with something because they're ignoring us on this. And I'm not even charging them for a lot of things that were wrong to my house. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gomez.
Angela Martinez?
You need a translator, Ms. Martinez?
Yes, please.
Muy buenas tardes.
Good afternoon.
Mi nombre es Ángela Martínez.
My name is Angela Martinez.
Yo estoy aquí porque tengo el problema aún de que la compañía que dañó mi casa
I am here because I continue to have the problem where the company that caused damage to my home
me está mandando avisos de que ellos no tienen nada que ver con los daños de mi casa.
they're sending me notices telling me that they have nothing to do with the damages caused to my home.
Que porque mi casa ya estaba dañada, que mi casa no fue dañada por ellos, que mi casa ya estaba dañada.
My house was already damaged, that it wasn't damaged by them. It had damage already.
Entonces, yo quisiera saber a qué hora fueron ellos que no me avisaron
And so I'd like
a
to know
revisar mi casa.
what time they went, because they did not let me know, what time they went to go look at my home
Antes de ellos empezar a trabajar ahí.
before they started working there.
Porque mi casa, yo soy la que vivo ahí. Yo
That's my
tengo
home.
que saber cómo está mi casa.
For my home, I'm the one that lives there. I need to know how my home is doing.
Entonces, ellos cómo van a saber cómo estaba mi casa si ellos no han vivido en esa casa, ellos no estuvieron ahí.
So how are they going to know how my house was in what condition if they are not the ones that live there? They're not the ones that have been there.
Otra cosa,
Another thing,
a mí me dijeron,
they told
una
me,
persona de ellos,
one of their representatives,
que él tiene una prueba de que un dron pasó el 2020 por arriba de mi casa
they said that they have proof with a drone that flew over my home in 2020
y le tomó fotos a mi casa y que se ve que el piso estaba quebrado.
that took images of my home and that they can see that the floor was broken.
Entonces, yo necesito que ellos me presenten esas pruebas.
So I need for them to present that proof to me.
Por lo tanto, necesito ver esas pruebas porque no es justo que vengan ellos a dañar lo poco que uno puede hacer en su vida.
In the meantime, I need them to show me that proof because it's not fair for them to come in and damage the little that we have.
¿Por qué ellos van a hacer eso? ¿Porque tienen dinero?
Why are they going to do that? Just because they have money?
¿Porque uno no tiene dinero para pagar un abogado?
Because we don't have money to pay for an attorney.
No es justo.
It's not fair.
Yo soy una persona de 71 años,
I'm a person,
sola,
so I'm 71,
que con trabajos hice
I'm
lo
alone.
poco que tengo.
that with my own hard work, I have the little that I have.
Para que ellos vengan a desgraciarme la casa
For them to come and destroy my home.
y se vayan muy campantes, que ellos no tienen la culpa.
And
¿Quiénes
then-
son ellos para decidirlo?
They can just be relaxed and say that they are not to blame. Who are they to say that?
Como yo se los mandé decir en una carta, es un juez, un abogado, quien lo tiene que decidir, no ellos.
Like I sent a word for them through a letter that it has to be a judge or a lawyer that has to decide that, not them.
Y yo voy a seguir buscando ayuda hasta por debajo de las piedras.
And I'm going to continue to look for help even under any rock.
Porque no es justo
Because
que ellos vengan y se vayan muy tranquilos después de que desgraciaron mi casa.
it's not fair for them to come in and then just be nice and calm and after they came in and broke my home.
¿Por qué? ¿Por qué quieren aprovecharse de mí?
Why do
¿Porque
they
me
want to
ven
take
sola?
advantage of me?
Porque
Just
estoy
because
vieja,
they see
pero
me
no-
alone?
No me
Because
voy a dejar que ni piensen que me voy a quedar tranquila.
I'm old? And they better not think that I'm just going to let this pass.
¿Cómo fregados no van a destruir mi casa? Si pasaban las máquinas pegaditas a mi casa,
How the hell are they not going to destroy my
una
home?
detrás de la otra.
The machines-
Parecía que iban jugando carreras.
We're so close to my home, one after the other. It looked like they were racing each other.
Todas las cuartearon mi casa. ¿Cómo no se iba a cuartear con eso que ellos hicieron ahí.
They broke all of that area. How are they not going to break that with all of the activity they did there?
Ahora me mandan decir que ellos fueron y checaron otras casas y que no tienen nada.
Now they're telling me that they went and checked other homes and the other homes don't have anything.
Claro, las casas están construidas hacia el frente.
Of course, the homes are constructed towards the front side.
La mía está construida pegada al terreno de ellos, para atrás.
Mine is constructed near or neighboring their area towards the back.
Y las máquinas estaban pasando pegadito a mi cerco, muy cerca de mi casa.
And the
Y yo
machines?
tengo las pruebas.
The machines were passing by really close to my fence on my side, and I have the proof of that.
Cuando pasaban las máquinas, parecía que estaba temblando.
When the
La
machines-
casa tronaba y rechinaba.
Were passing by, it felt like earthquakes. The house was shaking and everything was moving.
Todo el día y todos los días igual.
All day,
Me iban a dañar la casa.
every day, the same thing. How are they not going to damage the home?
All right, thank you. Just let her know her time's up. Ok, gracias, señora. Es todo su tiempo. Alguien va a hablar con usted ahorita.
Major Griffin.
What I just told her was her time was up and someone's going to talk to her. Come on up, sir.
Honorable Mayor and City Council, my name is Major Griffin. I live on the corner of Nuevo Road and Shady Oaks Drive. My back property is adjacent to all the construction that was going on. And after the last meeting that we had here, you recommended that we talk to Mr. Woozy outside. I spoke with Mr. Woozy. I told him I had damage to my property. And he said, well, I work for a big, powerful company, and you can't prove we did it. He said, but I can arrange for a third party to come and do an inspection and look at your damage. Well, he came to my house. He had a man with him that didn't give me a card or anything, identifying himself as a structural engineer. He just had a notebook pad, an ink pen, a phone, and that was it. No equipment, no nothing. At that time, they told me that I could get my own if I wanted to, my own inspection, which I did. And it contradicts what they say. Some things they agree, some things they don't. But they told me that they're not responsible for anything that happened. And like the other lady was saying, we live through an earthquake every day. I mean, all day, every day, it was like an earthquake. How could you not get damage to your property and you're right next door to an earthquake every day? You know, so I showed them damage to my property. It varied from hairline cracks to big separations in the concrete on my patio. And I told them that they're welcome to come back in a month or so and look at the hairline cracks. They're no longer going to be hairline cracks because it's still shifting. I have a fountain in the backyard that won't even stand up anymore. It went at an angle more and more. Next thing you know, it fell completely over, and it's over right now. They looked at all the damage, and they just said, blanket, everything is old. Even the hairline cracks, everything. They just said they're not responsible for anything, and I can't prove they did it. So when the city came out and we had a meeting in the neighborhood, they assured us that they wouldn't be able to do anything else until they satisfied the neighborhood that everything was being addressed properly. Well, a guy coming to my house with a paper and a phone and an ink pen, that's not addressing it properly to me. I went online, I had the people come out and do a survey of the property. I have a copy of the report and everything. I paid $800 to get the report.
All right, thank you, Mr. Griffin. Your time's up. Thank you. Council, before I close the hearing, have anybody have questions for the applicant? Still have more?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sonia Romo.
Is there more after that, too?
That is all.
Oh.
Good evening. My name is Sonia Romo. I live on 1502 Shady Oaks Drive. I was one of the residents that settled for the damages that was done to my property. I do want to mention, I agree with Major. I had an inspector come out to my home, pen, paper, more interested in the dogs and my nice patio, my grill, than actually inspecting. They came back and said none of it was true. Well, I was able to prove them with pictures that he did not take. That pretty much their inspector, which only went out because I requested him the previous day, excuse my language, was full of it. He went out there just to go. He was not interested in actually inspecting anything. With that being said, I completely support the growth in Paris. I think we've seen something amazing happen in our city. However, it does have to be done at a controlled rate. They're wanting to almost triple the amount of homes they're adding, yet they only want to add 20 parking spaces. In addition to that, I've heard in other meetings, traffic is a concern. We're already dealing with traffic in that area. What is 141 homes gonna happen? It's gonna cause more traffic to our area. I understand he mentioned multi-gen homes. Honestly, I don't know how many of you actually live in our city, but that's what you hear all our neighbors loving, the multi-gen, the additional like mother-in-law suite. It's something I initially saw in the Woodcrest area. When they bought it to Paris, I was in love with it, not townhomes. Everyone, or councilmen and women have mentioned, and mayor, not setting our standards low. I know I've talked to some of you about it also. There's no reason why we should settle for less. I understand they're meaning the minimum, but why settle with the minimum or just above the minimum? Parking is horrible. I have pictures where along Clearwater Elementary, it's at capacity. And even along their construction site, which is horrible. It's only gonna get worse. Other than that, if it were to get approved, I would appreciate if you guys can request rodent control. If there's something they can do for rodents, because that is horrible. As soon as they start touching the dirt, it's horrible. And that is all.
Thank you, Ms. Romo.
Thank you.
That is all.
Thank you. Council, anybody? Councilwoman Nava?
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to first begin by thanking all the speakers that took the time to share your experiences here in tonight's meeting. We typically don't hear that for home developers, so I really appreciate that. Mr. Woosley, I appreciate your time and dedication for bringing this project forward. The renderings that you have demonstrated show a beautiful project. Is now a good chance to ask the applicant a few questions?
Yes, because I still have the hearing open.
Thank you. So one of my first questions is there still an opportunity to revert back to the build-out of the originally zoned map, which would be the 57 single-family homes?
You're referring to the 57 lots that were previously approved. That is a current entitlement for the property. It's actually been recorded. However, when we purchased the property, that was not the highest and best use and certainly not fulfilling the needs that we feel this project does. And so we changed courses and proposed what you're seeing here this evening. Frankly speaking, everything is based on 141 units. So arbitrarily, let's just say you wanted to reduce the project from 141, less maybe 50, 60, 70 units, that would pretty much mothball the project. And so we don't support that approach. The 57 lots has been approved for a number of years. Gosh, so many years, maybe decades, and no one developed it. No one came to that site. It's been a dirt lot for many, many years. That's proof in the pudding as far as we're concerned. If there was a viable opportunity with that entitlement, it certainly would be 57 homes today. And so therefore, when we bought the property, we evaluated it based on what we felt was a better need servicing the housing needs of the city. And that's how you see the proposal designed today.
Thank you for that. As the speakers have mentioned, parking is an issue. And I'm just concerned, since this development has already started on really shaky grounds, that this type of living arrangements will further exacerbate the area and the concentration and saturation. I feel like all types of development is needed here in the city of Paris. However, this area might not be ideal, in my opinion, because of that. And I know I've asked this question before to you, but do you have a projected price for what these homes would go for?
Actually, no, as I'm not being evasive. We don't even have the project approved yet. And so when we actually get closer to plan approvals, we then determine what the market rate is. I can answer that question legitimately in that we always try and follow the marketplace for this type of product. And so that's what we'll chase. However, to tell you X tonight wouldn't be in the best interest of any answer because it wouldn't be true. Okay. But we're going to try and chase the market. And I think this product is going to yield a wider variety of homeowners that do not want necessarily a traditional single-family detached home.
Understood. And the only reason why I asked that is because I believe the price would be a significant advantage to those who perhaps can't afford a single-family home. But from my understanding, they seem to be pretty comparable. It's just folks prefer different types of living arrangements, right? So those are some of the questions I have for now. I appreciate your time.
Great.
And again, thank you so much to the speakers for showing up. Like I mentioned, we don't really hear from residents as much as we do for this type of home development. So I really appreciate that. And it definitely helps me formulate my decision. Thank you.
Councilwoman Vallejo.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. So thank you for everyone that spoke. I actually drive by through there every day, and I do see how packed it gets with parking. But I do have a question for the applicant. I know you mentioned that to mitigate the parking, you said that you're going to have an HOA where you make sure that that people can only park inside their garage and not have any storage or anything else. What is the likelihood of people buying a home with those restrictions? I mean, I know some people would buy, but I don't know if the majority of people would buy that if, people do have a lot of stuff and they use it for storage. So I just want to know, have other homes have done that restriction before? Has it been successful?
Sure, there are a couple questions there, and I appreciate that. First of all, it is very common, particularly in higher urbanized areas where parking is at a premium. And these HOA rules, with the laws that we have in place today, are strictly enforced. For example, there could be a monthly or every other month inspection, and they do get fined. And the buyer buying into this project is given copies of all the rules and regulations in which they have to acknowledge and execute. So they know what the rules are going into it. Now, for example, let's just pick the city of Irvine, okay? We have business there. We've had several projects throughout Southern California with this type of arrangement, and they're strictly enforced. And it's not just a Horton enforcement. Developers and builders have this HOA tool. And I've actually seen it witnessed because I used to live in a project. In fact, it was a Horton project where we had the same conditions in Irvine, and there was inspection. So I think that is discussed up front in a very careful way so that they acknowledge the rules and regulations going into this project. And I would correct a little bit what I heard is the number of required spaces that are being provided in the garages is 284 units. So we put that aside. In addition, we were required to provide 48, but we provided a total of 68. So we're above that standard. And if you add all that up, it's a substantial vehicle ratio against the city's current standards. So we exceed the standard. And so to ask a project to provide more would basically be impossible based on the parameters of the site plan. And I also want to make mention that we are providing improvements to both Nuevo and to Wilson. We're doing half-street improvements that will include city sidewalks, proper signage, curb and gutter, and of course, landscaping. And so there's going to be improvements along both those streets, we think that will help somewhat on the long-term basis. And again, the project's gated, and I have to emphasize that because it's important. I'm not sure of the project, the apartment project just across the road on Nuevo. I don't know if that project is gated. I was trying to find out, but our project is gated. You're not getting in unless you're invited in.
When you mentioned earlier that you said that you were going to provide more improvements for streets, can you explain that a little bit more?
Sure. We have improvements slated for Nuevo on our one half of the project. There would be landscaping, curb and gutter, sidewalks, all to meet the exact codes of the city standards under the general plan. More pronounced is on Wilson. Mm-hmm. Wilson will also be doing our half-street improvements that will include landscaping, curb and gutter, and sidewalks and landscaping, at which staff could give you further details on that.
And then another question I had, I'm not sure if it's for staff, but I know in Wilson and Nuevo, it gets pretty packed because of that one light. It's one lane or it goes into two and then emerges into one, and then there's a turning lane to go right, and then there's that single lane to go straight. That gets really packed. Like, you are backed up all the way back there. And now I'm thinking, well, if we were to build these homes, then we're just gonna have way more traffic. So it's not just parking issues, it's traffic issues.
Yeah.
I don't know if John
I think that's a
can help
good
me.
question for staff.
Mhm. John.
Thank you, Councilmember Vallejo. Yes, they're actually conditioned to improve that corner, the intersection. So the improvements would include Wilson all the way to Nuevo, and Nuevo going easterly and kind of doing all the improvements all the way to the existing improvements.
Okay, so
on
it's
Nuevo.
adding a second lane, like a full
Correct.
second lane. all the way
Wilson
through?
will be widened along their frontage.
Okay.
Right now, it's not fully improved.
Mhm. And then when would that start? Before the construction starts?
Prior to any occupancy, all those
Okay.
improvements have to be in place.
At least beforehand? Okay. And then, okay, Ryan, and then you mentioned earlier there's no way, in your opinion, that you can take off a unit or two just to add more parking.
I don't want to be disrespectful or disingenuous to your question, but you're asking a question to totally redesign the project. Taking 1 or 2 or 10 or 15 units, creating another 3 or 4 or 5 parking stalls, you really have to start from ground zero. So from that standpoint, look, let's be frank. We're into this to make a profit, right? There's no question about that. That's not a bad word. Density is not a bad word. Unfortunately, the 57 units didn't prove that out. And so that's how we ended up with this property. And so what we try to do is, let's first make what's right. What is right for the housing needs? And that's where we start our project development. And this is where we landed. And yes, there is, going back, I believe, to Councilmember, you talked about market rate homes versus single family. And there is an index that these homes will be priced lower than a single family detached. If you think about it logically, I'm going to pay as much for this unit as I would for a single-family detached. Well, they may not want to buy our units, but then they start looking at the difference of the type of housing. You have to remember that people buying in this project are living in a controlled environment. They're going to have an HOA. Everything is strictly managed in that HOA document. If people don't feel comfortable living in that environment, They're not going to buy from us. They'll go down the road and find something without an HOA. And so that's part of the living. And I don't know if you all have experienced living HOAs, but the good ones are well managed, and under California law, they're very well enforced.
Okay, thank you, Ryan. Those are all the questions I have right now.
Great, thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Yeah, just one question. I did speak to you. I'm not quite sure if I did ask this question, but would it be possible to legally, when they signed to purchase, that they understand that they might be limited to only 2 vehicles per that property, or is that something we can't do?
Well, that
Have you
is.
ever seen an HOA do that?
The HOA is going to guide that. The HOA is going to enforce cars only in the garages. So you have a
Right.
2-car garage?
Okay.
That's what it's there for.
Okay. But now say if somebody purchases a home and they have 3 cars, then what?
Well, you can only fit 2, and there's no
Okay.
driveway. So
Right.
they'll be taking advantage of one of the 68 spaces on the streets, the interior streets.
Thank you.
No problem.
All right, I see nobody else in the queue. I'm going to close the public hearing at 7:54 PM. And I'm going to revert back to the dais again. At this point, it's any more discussion and/or a motion? Mayor Pro Tem Corona.
Thank you, Mayor. Just comments on this. I do want to thank the speakers for with regarding this item. I do want to thank the developer also for removing the stockpile. I did have a chance to speak to the applicant, and I do appreciate their transparency. My decision isn't based on any past issues, but only looking forward. The development is beautiful, right? I mean, I saw the pictures, we could see it, I kind of analyzed it. The amenities are amazing, but I do have to look at all aspects of the project. I did have the opportunity to drive by the location just recently in the afternoons and even on the weekends, and I'm already familiar with the area. I did used to ride bikes on there. They used to have some bicycle jumps back in the day that I spent time over there. I do fully acknowledge as well too that our city is in high demand for housing, but at the same time, with this project and the location, I'm very much on the fence, and I don't have really strong feelings one way or the other. But my only issue, and I think I spoke to this with the applicant, is the density of the project. After speaking to residents in the surrounding area, and just seeing how the situation is on their streets. And keep in mind, these are single family homes with garages, with driveways, and the streets are packed. I mean, they're absolutely packed, and we can't think about what's going to happen in 1 year. We got to think about what's going to happen in 5 to 30 years from now, and I could already envision a situation where you have on 11 acres, 141 homes, and a young couple might live there right now, but eventually they get teenagers, and those teenagers get cars, and maybe another one wants a car too, and maybe things are tough, so they bring their brother and with his wife too, and all of a sudden, you have a family with 5 cars, and I could just see that the situation could be exacerbated regarding this project, so I think if this project was further down, maybe half a mile west, where it's not as dense right now, but in that current area, I mean, it's already built out, and we see what's across the street, and it's not your guys' fault, right? It was, I'm not going to even blame a prior council, but that project was approved. It shouldn't have been approved in that situation. I think we did fix apartments, but we're not voting for apartments. We're voting to increase the density for housing. So with that situation, at this current time, I cannot support this project. If there was a possible way to legally limit residents to 2 vehicles forever in perpetuity, I think it might be something different. But at this time, those are my thoughts. Thank you.
Anybody else? How far down is that wall where it does dead end on Wilson from the project? Like 2 or 3 blocks or even longer? Anybody know? 1 block? Oh. Nathan?
Let me see if I could pull up a picture. Let's see.
It is the
Unfortunately,
next block down, Mayor.
It's the next block down?
Correct. And actually, if you remember, we did take it to the Public Safety Committee meeting that was brought up. We did an analysis with fire department and our police department. And the cost was quite high, so we shelved it for now, not to open that
Well, that's,
roadway.
that's kind of to do with this project. I
Yeah.
just want to know what the distance. Okay. Well, I'm looking for a motion from, or a recommendation, something from somebody. We got to take some form of action, guys. Either we're going to approve it or not approve it.
All right, well, seeing that it's not moving forward, if I may recommend that the applicant revisit the original zoning, which would be the 57 single-family homes.
So your motion is not to approve this, but to revisit the 57?
Right, no one's motioning to move forward with the plan as proposed, so I'm assuming it's not gaining support.
So to deny it, right? Or
Yeah, you just can't say, go back in 57. You either deny this and suggest to go back to 57, or you're approving it.
If I may, so if the project is denied, the project defaults back to the underlying approval, right, Kenneth, Patricia?
That's correct.
So it automatically happens.
yeah, okay. You know what? I'll go ahead and do it. I just motion to deny the project in its current form.
All right, I have a motion by Council Mayor Pro Tem. I need a second. Second by Councilwoman Nava. Please call a vote.
Corona, Rab, Nava, yes. Vallejo, Vargas, no.
All right, thank you. We'll now move on to item 11C, which is consideration to adopt proposed resolution number next in order, accepting irrevocable offers of dedication over portions of properties identified as Riverside County Assessor's Parcels Numbers 310-150-012, parcel number 310-16-070, and 310-160-073, and 310-160-021 for public right-of-way purposes. This will be introduced by our city engineer, John Porcozimi.
Thank you, Mayor. City had received offers of dedications along Ellis Avenue, Case Road, and Getz Road previously. With this resolution, we'll be formally accepting the offers of dedication, thus allowing us to provide easement to other utility purveyors.
All right, thank you. This time I'm going to open up the public hearing at 8:02. Madam Clerk, do we have any requests to speak?
No, sir.
All right, we're going to close the public hearing at 8:02. I'll go back to the council. Any questions, comments, and/or a motion on the resolution? I have a motion by Councilman Rab, second by Councilwoman Nava. Please call the vote.
By vote, motion approved.
Thank you. 11D is consideration to adopt proposed resolution number next in order approving substantial amendment number 1 to the fiscal year 2025-2026 annual action plan and approving the fiscal year 2026-2027 annual action plan. This will be introduced by our Director of Public Services, Sabrina Chavez.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, members of the City Council. The city's CDBG consultant, Cindy Hernandez, will be presenting this item before you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, City Council, staff, and Paris community. My name is Cindy Hernandez, here with Avant Garde, the city's housing consultant partner. The items that I will be proposing to you today are substantial amendment number 1 to the fiscal year 2025-2026 annual action plan and consideration of the draft fiscal year 2026-2027 annual action plan. The Community Development Block Grant Program was initiated by an act of Congress as part of the Housing and Community Development Act of 1974. The CDBG program is funded directly by the federal government's Office of Housing and Urban Development, otherwise known as HUD. HUD is responsible for issuing the city's entitlement fund, and HUD provides the annual grant on a formula basis to cities like Paris to carry out eligible activities. The primary objective of the CDBG program is to develop viable urban communities by providing decent housing, a suitable living environment, and expanded economic opportunities, principally for persons of low and moderate income. When considering what activities to fund, the city must ensure proposed activities meet one of the 3 national objectives of the CDBG program: benefiting low and moderate income persons, aiding in the prevention or elimination of slums or blight, or meeting community development needs having a particular urgency, such as a natural disaster. Additionally, all proposed activities must align and address one of the goals from the 5-year consolidated plan. And the city must also consider funding caps. The CDBG program administration is subject to a 20% cap of the total allocation, and the city can utilize up to 15% of the annual allocation to fund public services activities. All remaining funding can be programmed for non-public services activities. HUD requires that the city submit an annual action plan outlining the city's use of its CDBG funds each year. The 1-year action plan discusses the specific activities planned for the upcoming fiscal year and outlines all resources available. A consolidated plan is the 5-year plan for the use of CDBG funds. Fiscal year 2025-2026 is the second action plan of the 5-year consolidated planning period for 2024 through 2028. And fiscal year 2026-2027 is the third action plan of the 5-year consolidated planning period. The fiscal year 2026-2027 action plan provides recommendations for funding by the Paris CDBG Committee and are separated into the 3 categories of administration, public services, and non-public services projects. In accordance with the city's adopted citizen participation plan, when a substantial amendment change is proposed to the city's annual action plan or the consolidated plan, the city requires that the public be notified and a public hearing be held to allow the public an opportunity to comment on the proposed substantial changes, such as adding an activity, canceling an activity, redirecting funds, or receiving additional funding. The city published a notice of public hearing and 30-day review and comment period on Friday, April 24th via Paris Progress and La Opinión, to provide interested citizens an opportunity to comment on proposed substantial amendment number 1 to the fiscal year 25-26 annual action plan and the draft action plan for 2026-27 as outlined in the next slide. On March 2025-2026, the staff met with CDBG committee to provide a status update on fiscal year 25-26 activities. During this meeting, staff reported on the withdrawal of Inland Equity Community Land Trust and the city's homeless services program from participation in the 25-26 program year. Inland Equity Community Land Trust decided not to proceed with the program, and the city's homeless services program experienced several challenges implementing a program that aligned with their approved application and CDBG compliance requirements. Although the 2 organizations were provided with technical assistance to ensure successful implementation, each determined that reapplying at a future date would be more appropriate. The withdrawal of these activities and their associated funding contributes to the $685,933.33 in unspent carryover funds to be programmed in fiscal year 26-27 annual action plan. On April 3rd, 2026, HUD announced their fiscal year 2026-2027 allocations. The City of Paris received an allocation of $900,226 in federal CDBG funds. Staff identified a total of $685,933.33 in unspent carryover funds following a comprehensive reconciliation of prior year funding and review of previous processes. These unspent carryover funds from prior fiscal years devised from projects and/or activities that were completed under budget, withdrawn, or canceled activities. For fiscal year 26-27, the City of Paris has a total of $1,586,159.33 available to program. As seen on the second table on the bottom of the slide, considering the funding caps, the city can program up to $180,000 for CDBG program administration, up to $135,000 for public services, and the remainder of the allocation can be programmed for non-public services. And the carryover can only be programmed to non-public services for a total available to program for non-public services of $1,271,080.23. The city held a public meeting in front of the CDBG committee on March 25th, 2026. The CDBG committee selects activities recommended to city council for funding. The city council can then accept or make modifications and recommendations of the CDBG committee. Based on committee recommendations, the city published a notice of public hearing and comment period on Friday, April 24th via Paris Progress and La Opinion to provide interested citizens the opportunity to comment on the draft substantial amendment number 1 to the fiscal year 25-26 action plan and the draft action plan for 26-27 as summarized in the following slide. As seen on the screen, the city received a total of 13 applications for CDBG funds, which excludes administration. And the CDBG committee recommended funding to 11 organizations as seen on this slide. Staff recommends that the City Council open the public hearing and solicit comments from interested citizens on the substantial amendment number 1 to the fiscal year 2025-2026 annual action plan and the one-year action plan for 2026-2027. Adopt resolution next in order approving substantial amendment number 1 to the fiscal year 2025-2026 annual action plan. Adopt resolution next in order approving fiscal year 26-27 annual action plan. Authorize the city manager or their designee to submit the substantial amendment and action plan to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, and authorize the city manager or their designee to execute all agreements, amendments, and related documents to implement the CDBG program and the fiscal year 26-27 annual action plan, subject to city attorney approval as to form. This concludes my presentation.
Thank you so much. Council, may I have any quick questions before I open up the public hearing? I'm going to open up the public hearing at 8:11. Madam Clerk, do you have any requests to speak?
Yes, sir. Ashley Brown Mills.
Good evening, Mayor, council members, and staff. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. My name is Ashley Brown Mills, and I represent Voices for Children, serving youth in foster care throughout Riverside County. I want to begin by expressing our sincere appreciation for your continued support and consideration of our $20,000 CDBG funding request. Your willingness to invest in community-based organizations reflects a deep commitment to supporting the most vulnerable members of Paris. Through this funding, Voices for Children is able to recruit, train, and support court-appointed special advocates, CASA volunteers, who provide consistent one-on-one advocacy for children who have experienced abuse or neglect. These children are navigating one of the most difficult times in their lives, and having a dedicated adult by their side can make a lasting difference. So far this year, we have served 26 children connected to the Paris community. Behind that number are 26 individual stories, children who now have someone advocating for their education, their well-being, and their future. The cost to provide 1 year of advocacy for a child is approximately $2,000. This means your investment has a potential to directly support 10 children with a full year of consistent, caring advocacy, ensuring they are not alone as they navigate the foster care system. We are incredibly grateful for your consideration and for your leadership in investing in programs that strengthen children, families, and the Paris community. Thank you for your time and your thoughtful consideration.
Thank you.
That is all.
All right, I'm going to close the public hearing at 8:13. I'll call for a motion on the resolution. I have a motion by Mayor, Councilman Rabb, second by Mayor Pro Tem Corona. Please call the vote.
5-0, motion approved.
Thank you. Item 12 is our business items. 12A is consideration to adopt proposed resolution number next in order, adopting a policy for implementation of the new provisions of the Ralph M. Brown Act as enacted by Senate Bill number 707. I skipped something? Ready to go home? E.
Yes.
11E, consideration to adopt proposed resolution number next in order approving substantial amendment to number 2 to the fiscal year 24-25 annual action plan. This will be introduced by Director of Public Services, Sabrina Chavez.
Good evening. This item will also be presented by CDBG consultant Cindy Hernandez.
Thank you. Good evening. Once again, council, staff, honorable mayor, and the Paris community. Again, Cindy Hernandez, the CDBG consultant. The item to be presented is the substantial amendment number 2 to the fiscal year 2024-2025 annual action plan. The U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development requires that the city submit an annual action plan on an annual basis, outlining the city's use of the Community Development Block Grant Funds, otherwise known as CDBG. The action plan discusses the specific activities planned for the upcoming fiscal year and the resources available. The one-year action plan for program year 2024-2025 provides recommendations for funding by the Paris CDBG committee, and the recommendations are separated into the 3 funding categories of administration, public services, and non-public services projects. Fiscal year 2024-2025 is the first action plan of the 5-year consolidated planning period, 2024 through 2028, and is submitted as one planning document. On June 11, 2024, the city approved the 2024 through 2028 consolidated plan, which included the first-year action plan for fiscal year 2024-2025. City Council subsequently approved substantial amendment number 1 to the fiscal year 24-25 action plan on April 8, 2025. Substantial amendment number 1 captured the cancellation of 2 originally adopted activities and the reprogramming of those funds to create 2 new eligible activities. On October 29, 2024, the staff met with CDBG committee to review CDBG activities and the city's timeliness status. For fiscal year 24-25, the city received an allocation in the amount of $886,118. The slide before you outlines the originally approved activities and their respective funding as separated by funding category. In accordance with the city's adopted participation plan, when a substantial change is proposed, the city's annual action plan or the consolidated plan, city requires the public to be notified and a public hearing to be held to allow the opportunity to comment on the proposed substantial changes such as adding an activity, canceling an activity, redirecting funds, or receiving an additional funding. The city did publish a notice of public hearing and 30-day review and comment period on Friday, April 24th via the Paris Progress and La Opinion to provide interested citizens with an opportunity to comment on proposed substantial amendment number 2 to the fiscal year 24-25 annual action plan as outlined on the next slide. On October 29, 2024, city staff met with CDBG committee to review the CDBG activities and the city's timeliness status. During this meeting, staff reported on the withdrawal of Women Achieving Success and Neighborhood Services of the Inland Empire. from participation in the 24-25 CDBG program. Neighborhood Services of the Inland Empire encountered challenges obtaining beneficiary demographic data required for CDBG accomplishment reporting, and Women Achieving Success requested to withdraw due to organizational capacity. Additionally, the city's homeless services program was no longer able to partner with Path of Life Ministries as the organization transitioned to limiting services strictly to the City of Riverside residents only. As a result, a total of $34,701 from public services category became available, allowing staff to propose the reallocation from administration to public services, allowing an increase in the CDBG program administration activity. All funding recommendations proposed follow the funding cap limitations and remain within the original 24-25 allocation. At the conclusion of the October 29th CDBG committee meeting, the CDBG committee agreed with the proposed recommendations and recommended that staff proceed with the reallocations as outlined on the following slide. The slide before you captures the recommendations presented by the CDBG committee. Only program administration remains under the administration activity. Fair housing was reallocated to public services, and the two activities were eliminated and funding was reduced from homeless services. This did also capture Grid Alternatives reallocation to the downtown sidewalk improvement project. Again, all remaining with the $886,118 original fiscal year 24-25 allocation. Staff recommends that the City Council open the public hearing and solicit comments from interested citizens on the fiscal year 24-25 Action Plan Substantial Amendment Number 2, adopt resolution next in order approving Substantial Amendment 2 to the fiscal year 24-25 Action Plan, authorizing the city manager or their designee to submit the substantial amendment to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, and authorizing the city manager or their designee to execute all agreements, amendments, and related documents to implement the CDBG program subject to city attorney approval as to form. This concludes my presentation.
Thank you, Cindy. I'll open up the public hearing at 8:20. Madam Clerk, do you have any requests to speak?
No, sir.
Okay, I'm going to close the public hearing at 8:20, and I will call for the motion on the resolution. I have a motion by Councilwoman Nava, second by Mayor Pro Tem Corona. Please call the vote.
5-0, motion approved.
Thank you. All right, now we're moving on to 12A, our business items. 12A is consideration to adopt proposed resolution number next in order, adopting a policy for implementation of the new provisions for the Ralph M. Brown Act as enacted by Senate Bill number 707 regarding disruption of telephonic or internet service occurring during city council meetings. This will be introduced by our Director of Administrative Services, Ms. Saida Moscar.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, members of the City Council, and city staff. I'm here to present to you a brief summary of SB 707 policy, which you have there before you via adoption of the draft resolution. As background, on October 3rd, 2025, Governor Newsom signed into law SB 707, which amends the Brown Act with the intent to diversify and increase public engagement during the local government meetings, including city council meetings. Beginning July 1st, 2026, and through January 1st, 2030, public agencies are required to allow members of the public to attend city council meetings via either a telephonic platform or service or a two-way audiovisual platform. So for our city, we will be doing so starting July 1st, conducting our hybrid meetings via Zoom. And we have the means, we have the platforms of Zoom. We've utilized it in the past during the pandemic, so we will be using Zoom to conduct our city council meetings via hybrid manner. The agency must then formally adopt a policy, which is this policy here this evening, regarding procedures for recessing and reconvening a council meeting in the event of a disruption of service. Staff and City Attorney's Office has proposed the draft policy, which in fact mirrors what this SB 707 exactly requires. So we're just mirroring what the guideline is under 707. And that is, it is required for the City Council to recess an open session and try to restore the service for at least 1 hour or until the service's disruption is restored, whichever is earlier. And during this time, we are required to notice the disruption via posting on the city's website and announcing at the in-person meeting. The City Council may have closed session during this time only if it's absolutely necessary. However, following the 1 hour recess, the presiding officer may reconvene the meeting by publicly announcing such intent from the dais or other meeting location and confirming that that there's a presence of a quorum. If service cannot be restored within the 1 hour required time, then upon reconvening the open session, the City Council must conduct a roll call vote confirming that good faith efforts were made and that the public interest in continuing the meeting outweighs the public interest in remote public access. The above stated procedures shall equally apply within the other scenarios, which are if there's disruption that affects the public, when there's a council member participating remotely for just cause, or as authorized under Government Code Section 54953, Section 8, Section 3, or any person with a disability who is participating remotely as a reasonable accommodation under applicable law. So in any of those scenarios, it's the same guidelines. It's the recess of the 1 hour, publicizing that recess, and then coming back only if the intent is better to continue the meeting. The two-way, if council elects to provide via audiovisual platform, which is Zoom, then the two-way audiovisual platform shall be structured to disable the use of video for public participants. This policy also includes if there's misconduct via the Zoom or in person, that the presiding officer may, recess and ask, to remove that person causing the misconduct. So there's that also in the policy. I think we've had a practice of that, but we now include it in the policy. The City Council shall publicly post and provide a call-in option, which we would have. The Zoom always has a call-in option as well, so we would post that, similar to what we've done in the past during the pandemic. Automatic captioning shall be activated if the platform provides, which it will. And that concludes the policy and what it entails. So staff at this time recommends that the City Council adopt the resolution implementing the proposed policy for implementation of the new provisions of the Brown Act as enacted by SB 707 regarding disruption of the hybrid meeting, telephonic or internet service occurring during City Council meetings. That concludes my presentation. If you have any questions, happy to answer them for you.
Council, anybody?
A quick question.
Yes, sir.
So just based on the presentation of the text of the bill, so if we get a disruption, say the internet goes down at 10:30, we've done most of the business, but we're, say, at this section or council communications, we would have to wait an hour. We can even just stop the meeting and say, we'll be back in tomorrow. We have to wait a whole entire hour trying to reestablish connection before we could adjourn the meeting?
It's a very good question. I may defer that to the city attorney.
So these are all very new laws, and we're going to have to kind of figure them out. But I think you can say we're adjourning and put notice that we're adjourning because we lost internet, and we'll resume the meeting.
Okay, so we wouldn't have to stick around here for a whole hour.
No, but if you have closed session items, as it was discussed, you could choose to go into closed session during that time, perhaps. But yes, you can say internet's down, public participation is affected. We'll take this meeting later, and we can put notice on the internet.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you. Thank you for your presentation.
Welcome, thank you.
So just take note, that's the way we are going to operate. I am not going to continue a meeting beyond that time, and it needs to be emphasized on the agenda somewhere that our meetings are up till 10 o'clock as well. All right, anybody else? Councilman, Mayor Pro Tem.
So hypothetically, we're being asked to consider to adopt. What was, are we, do we really have the option? City attorney? No, so it's
Law.
gonna be, okay. Just wanna be clear.
All right, we're looking for a motion on the resolution. And it's something that we don't have any option to do. So this should be quick. I have a motion by Councilwoman Nava, second by Mayor Pro Tem. Please call the vote.
Five oh, motion approved.
Thank you. Item 13 is our council communications with Councilman Rab.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Vargas. I'd like to first start off by thanking all the speakers for coming out today and providing insight to some somewhat contentious agenda items. Yesterday, I had the opportunity to attend the American Legion Annual Memorial Day service. Mayor Vargas was the speaker. He gave good points regarding the sacrifice many of our men and women who paid the ultimate sacrifice gave to ensure our freedom as American citizens. Councilman Corona was also, Mayor Pro Tem Corona was also there. So it was a very good turnout this year and very good weather as well. So really appreciated the American Legion and the VFW putting that event on. I know there have been several fires in the area, particularly there were 3 homes destroyed by fire last week, along with the fires in Jurupa and Nuevo. I could just press upon staff as we move into the more drier seasons, if we can start maybe reaching out to the landowners a little bit earlier, especially the landowners lots adjacent to homes, maybe putting a fire break. The areas that come to my mind just off the top of my head is that area just north of Park Avenue, 7th Street. It's bounded by 4th Street all the way down to where the ranch is, the shooting range. That whole area that goes up to like 4th Street, it's a lot of weeds, a lot of homeless in that area. And then another area is directly across 4th Street near Nuevo Road. There's like a little section across from where they're putting the gas station at, where we can find out that the owners are there to start working toward weed abatement. And then certain lots in the downtown area that may need the weed abatement issue are lots of budding residential developments. I just think we're going to head into a period where there's going to be a lot of fires, and we just need to get proactive on that. And also, if we can start looking in the alleys of some of the downtown and other areas, some of the trees that are growing up around the power lines. I know Edison will come and they'll cut the trees down or trim the trees. If maybe we can just make an inventory of those trees in the alley and on the streets that, you know, so either palm fronds or dried trees near those power lines, just to be anticipating a extremely, what I believe is going to be an extremely dry summer and fall in the area. So I just would appreciate if we can work on that. And I really thank staff for all the work they've done so far on this issue. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Vallejo.
Thank you, Mayor. I would first like to start off, I want to thank community services staff because the Cinco de Mayo event that was at the beginning of the month was amazing. I went multiple times throughout the day and it was always full. It's first ever that we've had that had a lot of different new amenities. So thank you, city staff, for having it be a smooth transition there. Also last Friday, I went to the night market that we do the Friday of every month, and that has been looking amazing too. We got a lot of good vendors, so if anyone wants to come next month, it's really worth it. I bought a lot of stuff, so that's where all my money goes. But it's a really great event where you see so many people go outside, you see so many kids and so many vendors. So I would also like to thank city staff for that. Also, it was Mayor, Councilmember Nava and I, we all went to ICSC. And it was a great conference where we are trying to get more retail out here to the community. We had some amazing meetings, and thank you to our consultant, Chris, that I feel like we are actually getting there. We're really attracting these new commercial developers now, so it's very exciting, but there's more to come, so everyone just wait. And lastly, I would like to congratulate all the senior students that are going to be graduating, I think, next week. It is a big deal for them, and we want to congratulate for all the hard work they've done. And also thank you, city staff, too, for also being on top of everything that that has been going on. And that's pretty much. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Nava.
Thank you, Mayor. I would like to, again, thank the speakers that we had participate during tonight's meeting. And as Councilmember Vallejo shared, we had a very productive meetings at ICSC, the commercial real estate event. And unlike other years in the past where there have been some hesitation, this year I felt like every business in different sectors were very interested in expanding their businesses here in the city of Paris. So I am looking forward to see that growth unfold in our city. Also, I had the opportunity to attend the Cinco de Mayo event, which was great. It was filled with great music and several attractions that kept families entertained throughout the day. So thanks to our city staff for hosting that. And that completes my comments for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mayor. I think everyone kind of said a lot of these, but I do want to echo Councilman Rab about the weed abatement. I did already address some of the issues, but if we could just have our staff just kind of when they drive by, just if they see weed sticking out of the sidewalk, just maybe stop there and pull it out or if safely and possible, right? Because when I go to other cities, I don't see as many weeds sticking out of the sidewalks, so we could kind of address those issues. Memorial Day, as Councilman Rab stated, it was well attended. I did recently attend the Orange Vista and also the Paris High School Senior Awards Night. We did see 5 high school seniors here, which were amazing. But there's so many amazing students going to so many different colleges and different careers and even to the military. So I do want to take this time to congratulate all of our students, whether you are graduating from preschool or you are getting your PhD. We as a community and a city, we are very proud of you. The night market, I must have missed you, but I did attend. Very well attended, and they had a band playing, and people are just out there dancing and just having a good time and enjoying themselves, and it was just a nice wholesome event. So thank you all to those that participated in organizing that. Cinco de Mayo events. I think that was our best Cinco de Mayo event we've ever had. Just nonstop, right? From the beginning to the end. Lucha Libre was awesome. I know people that went to stayed late for the bands at the end, and they were just enjoying themselves, having a good time, and everyone seemed to be happy. I do want to take this time also to congratulate the Director of Parks and Community Services, Arsenio Ramirez, for being the sidekick to the first ever pickleball champions in the city of Paris history. Yeah,
Second place?
Second place was Clara and our assistant city manager Wendell Bugtie. It was just a really good event, very well organized for those that did it. It was meant to help out as a fundraiser for the local Boys and Girls Club. And special shout out to all those that help organize it. I can't remember exactly the organization, but I do know it's a local pickleball organization in the area. Special shout out goes as well to Menifee. Oh, sorry. Yeah, it was organized by the Boys and Girls Club, but in also conjunction with another pickleball organization. Special shout out goes to Menifee Councilman Dan Temple for his involvement too, and just being an overall nice guy. I think that's the first time I met him, and I know sometimes we have our differences with Menifee, but he was really really nice. So special shout out to him, and I think we were all winners that day. Just some of us were undefeated as we came. Thank you. That's all the comments. Thank you.
All right, so that was the first item for me too, was the Boys and Girls Club, and we did have 4 teams, and 3 of our teams placed first, second, and third. I won't bring up names who didn't make it. Assistant City Manager Irena and Councilwoman Vallejo. I wasn't dropping names, but
I was going easy on everyone, that's why.
But on a serious note, ever since we opened that park, that pickleball courts are always busy. which, so. All right, I went to the Cinco de Mayo, so we have that salsa competition. I think it was a hot, mild, and I think, is hot the hottest one? They need to put extreme heat or something, because man, that stuff was hot. But I had a good time, and I had our supervisor, First District, Medina was here, and with his staff member, Medina himself wasn't doing the tasting, but his staff member was, so it turned out really good. I went to the ADC conference through the March Joint Powers Authority. ADC stands for Association of Defense Communities. This is a conference of community members that surround bases, whether you are BRAC based like ourselves and or active bases. One of my takeaways is community awareness, and our community is not really aware of what's going on at our base. It's literally right next to us, and why these planes are flying overhead, and why certain areas in this city are nothing but warehouses because of that base. So I'm going to encourage, and I already spoke to the executive director from the March Joint Powers Authority, that she needs to come in here and start giving some presentations at least maybe every 6 months to give a status and an update what it is this base is doing. This is a very critical base, folks. If you don't know, this is the second largest runway in the United States of America, so it's not going anywhere. They hold a lot of high tech missions that come out of here. I'm not acting like I know them, because I don't, because it's all confidential, but I know it's a lot that goes on here, and our community needs to be aware of what is going on in our local base. I don't think anybody mentioned senior prom night. It's always a blast when we have our senior prom night. Thanks to our community services, they're continually doing outstanding services for our community. I want to thank the office of Senator Sabrina Cervantes. She hosted a mobile home rights workshop here in our brand new ARC building, the Arsenio Ramirez Center. That was a very good event. We do have quite a few mobile homes, and it was good for our folks to learn their rights. I'm going to skip all the rest. So, and then lastly, I want to confirm, staff, did we identify a date for our next strategic meeting? I don't recall.
No, we have not.
Okay, that's all I need to know. We need to get going on that. I'm a little perplexed tonight that we now are turning down housing projects. We did warehouses, you guys put a moratorium, and now we just denied housing. I am just totally perplexed on where we're going with this. Now, I understand parking is a situation that's everywhere, even in my communities and your communities as well. I mean, if you drive through my streets, you think there's a party going on every night. There's not a party going on. That's how many people live in our community, in our homes, and there are multiple families coming in. And that is a challenge, and I don't know how we're going to work around that. That's very difficult, but we really need to start focusing on what we're doing here, where our strengths are going to be here, and where our objectives and where we're going moving forward. So that's it for tonight. Thank you, everybody, for all the speakers that came out, and we are now going to move on to item 14, our city manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor. The city received an award from the Riverside County Nutrition Action Partnership through the Public Services Department for exceptional community partners for the work conducted at school sites through the CalFresh Healthy Living Grant. So congratulations to the city. And then also, the city will be hosting its 25th annual Rods and Rails Car Show on Saturday, June 13th from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. at the Southern California Railway Museum. That concludes my report.
Thank you very much. All right, takes item 15, our adjournment. We are adjourned at 8:41. Thank you, everybody, for attending, watching us on social media. We'll see y'all next meeting.